My name is Zyen and I'm a physics teacher by day and dance teacher by night. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do the figure eights with your hips. Now the figure eights is not really an easy move. It does require some flexibility in your hips. So if you've never done this before, or if you've never done any moves similar to this and you have quite a stiff hip, you might find that it's a little bit difficult the first time you try it. So be kind to yourself, don't push yourself so hard. Do test the limitations of your body and make sure that you don't push yourself so much that you end up injuring yourself or something. So let's talk about the figure eight. You're going to be drawing the number 8 with your hips. So we know that this is kind of the shape of a number 8. In this case, we are actually drawing a sleeping 8 this way. So you've got to imagine that your hips are drawing the number 8 sleeping in a horizontal fashion. For this to work, you must make sure that your hips are relaxed and bent all the time. You cannot do this with a stiff body. You've got to relax, bend your knees and allow your hips to move. So if you have stiff hips, you need to learn to relax your hips by pushing them side to side first and doing little circles, and then you can give the figure 8 a go. In order to do the figure 8 well with your hips, you must make sure that your knees are relaxed and they have a slight bend in them. So if I show you from the side view, you just need a slight bend in your knees. You can't do the figure 8s with very straight, stiff knees. That's not going to come out well. So have a slight bend in your knees, but don't bend until you go into a squat. That's not the aim. It's just a slight bend so that the hips have the freedom to move. So in order to do a really good figure 8 move, you just need to think of 2 moves, the twist and slide. Now let's look at each move individually. When we say twist, what we mean with the hips is you want to twist your body so that your hips come forward one at a time. Now observe that when I'm twisting my hips, the upper body does not move with it. So I'm not doing this. Watch my shoulders are not moving. Which means that we are only moving the hips. We have isolated the hips from the rest of the body so that only the hips are moving. And this is why you need to make sure you have bent knees. Because if your knees are straight, you could potentially twist your kneecaps. Plus, it looks very stiff. So that's the twist. Now, if I say slide, what I want you to think of is just sliding your hips from side to side. Again, try not to move your upper body, and you might find that your hips are not moving in exactly a straight line, and that's fine, because the way your body is designed, you'll find that as you're sliding your hips from side to side, you're actually moving a little bit up and down, and that's perfectly normal for any human body. So starting with your right hip, we're going to twist so that our right hip comes forward and our left hip goes back. Remember to keep your knees bent and relaxed throughout the entire motion. From here, you are going to slide the hip forward in this angle to the right. So you'll find that your hips become slightly off-center, but that's fine. From here, you're going to do a twist, but this time maintaining your hips off-center. That means your pivot point is now slightly off-center from your body. Your right hip is going to stay on the right, your left hip is going to stay a little bit off-left, and all you do is just twist in this position. Try not to combine both at the same time. That means don't have a twist and a slide, and then twist and a slide, and then a twist and a slide, because that doesn't make the move distinct. So twist, slide from here, staying at this position. All you do is just twist so that now your left hip comes forward. Then you're going to slide your left hip forward. So now your right hip has come in a little bit off center, and then you're going to again twist, maintaining your left hip on the left, twist, and then slide, twist, 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 slide. Throughout this motion, if you can keep your upper body quiet, that means your shoulders do not move with the movement, that's fantastic. If you're doing this for the first time and you find that your upper body tends to move with your hips, then you probably don't have very flexible hips yet. So then what I encourage you to do is to do smaller rotations. Try to keep your shoulders quiet, and if this is all you can manage, that's perfectly fine. It's more important to get your technique right and build your flexibility from there than trying to get big movements but then never knowing how to isolate your shoulders. So keep your shoulders quiet and just try to do that twist and rotate. One of the excellent ways in order to try to keep your shoulders quiet is to hold onto a wall. So for example, if I'm going to press against the door here, what I would do is I press my hands on the door to keep my shoulders quiet and I try to move my hips. If you're doing the figure 8 and your arms tend to be moving as well, that means that your upper body has moved together with your hips. So what you want to do is to try to keep the arms quiet so that you don't move so much and just focus on moving the hips. This movement does require some practice. It's not going to happen overnight unless you practice, well, overnight. So when is a good time to practice? Well, if you can spare the time, well, just hold on to a wall and just practice. But if you're so busy in your schedule and you don't have time to spare to just stand, at one place and just hold the wall, then what you can do is work this practice into part of your daily life. So for example, if you're watching TV or if you're on a Zoom call and your camera's off, then just stand up, hold onto the table and see if you can get your figure 8s right. So when would we use figure 8s? Now, figure 8s are incorporated into almost any dance move. It could be in Latin, it could be in hip hop or even freestyle, and you could use these as filler moves. In Latin, for example, the cha-cha and rumba, they do have moves which specifically use the figure 8. For example, the Cuban rock or the cucaracha. You can even use them as filler moves. So filler moves meaning that if the choreography has a bit of a hold in there, but there's still music that's playing very gently, you can even add a little bit of figure 8 while you're waiting for the next step. You could even incorporate this into every move that you take. For example, if you're doing a salsa side basic, instead of doing just the merengue hips, you can actually add figure 8s. So I hope you have found this tutorial helpful. Do let me know what you think and what else you'd like to learn in my dance tutorials. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe for more easy dance move tutorials just like this. Happy practicing!